Well, governments globally are enacting strict measures to contain the coronavirus, raising questions about individual freedoms and privacy rights during a pandemic. Israel has given its security agencies the power to track the mobile data of people suspected of having the virus. The government will use the information to force them into quarantine and warn those who've come into contact with them. South Korea has taken similar steps by using mobile phone and satellite technology to track potential carriers. Ali Funk is a researcher for the watchdog Freedom House. She says strict measures must be put in place to ensure people's privacy isn't at risk once the pandemic is over.
We know from a public health perspective, it can be beneficial to track infected or potentially infected people. But what we're really concerned about is that this location tracking, the health related information is going to be used for other purposes, particularly by governments who are using surveillance to track down activists or human rights defenders or journalists or even opposition figures. So if this information has to be collected, which I think in order to justify the collection, we have to ensure that it is scientifically supported as a way to protect public health. We need to ensure that the restrictions are as narrow as possible. So then when we get out of this, our privacy protections are still there, because what's happening is these current restrictions could have a lasting effect way long after we get the outbreak under control. It's going to be a big challenge, and it's something that we see post, terrorist attacks or other type of crises, and that's why it's very important for tech companies who are making these tools, for civil society groups, ordinary citizens, to really understand what type of limitations are happening now, so that once we get past this really scary time, we can fight again to have our privacy rights back to us and free expression and freedom of association and assembly.